Fantasy basketball managers, if you are using the Sleeper app, this episode is for you. We are going to go through some of the top players and what you need to pay attention to for week 8 of the fantasy basketball season. So we're going to go into Sleeper and we're just going to look at some of the top players. I got a couple of comments saying that people want more Sleeper content, so I'm going to do my best to try to create some for you. So we're going to just start with the big dog, the guy that somebody in your league has this person on their team. We're going to go ahead and start with my man, the Joker. So for week 8, the Joker has 4 games, which is a good look. But one of the challenges that you face if you have the Joker on your team is that if he does really good, let's say he's projected to do 44.25 in his game against Atlanta. If he does 44 points, you're like, maybe I'll hold out and see if he does more. So that's something you really want to be mindful of when you roster the Joker. If you're going against somebody who has the Joker, you just got to get ready to take your lumps, man. It's like, unless he gets injured, there's no way that he's not putting up at least 40 points in Sleeper League. So what I would recommend if you are a Jokic manager is to let him play that first game. If he goes for more than 60 points, I would just lock it in. Even if he does 70 later on or something like that, at least you went ahead and you started out strong for the week. So for me, I would lock in that score if he does over 60. Now, if he does 44, 45, he does in the 40s or even the 50s, I would maybe give him another chance. If you go through the week and you see like, hey, after game 2, he didn't put up more than game 1. After game 3, he still didn't do it. I would maybe lock in game 3. I wouldn't mess around and then, God forbid, he gets injured or something for that 4th game. So that's what you want to be mindful of with the Joker is if he has a big game early, go ahead and snatch that up to start your week off strong. Next up, we want to take a look at somebody that I'm not so crazy about in most formats. But here on Sleeper, it works a little better for this player because availability is the best ability when it comes to fantasy basketball. And this player traditionally, habitually, chronically is banged up. I'm talking about your boy, the brow, Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis, although, No, I'm sorry. Let me change how many games he has. So for week 8, Anthony Davis has 3 games, right? So again, in Sleeper formats, I'm higher on players who are injury prone than I am in traditional points leagues, category leagues, or even roto leagues, right? Well, maybe not roto leagues. Roto leagues, I don't play in too many roto leagues or haven't played in too many roto leagues, I should say. So for me, I can't really speak to that. My man Dan Bespris can from NBA Fantasy Today. He was on our show, and if you check out the episode about Roto, he gives you a whole breakdown on that. For Sleeper, though, Anthony Davis is a go. Because the fact of the matter is you only need him to be healthy for the game that he scores the most points. And if he misses 2 games and he scores, let's say, 35 fantasy points on 1 game, then I'll take it. So the risk is a lot lower with an injury-prone player like Anthony Davis. So on his first game, he has Dallas. He's projected to score 34.18. In his second game, he's against San Antonio, projected to score 35.14. And then again, they have another game against San Antonio. So for me, very much like the Joker, if he goes way beyond 34 in his first game, I'm talking 50 points, at least 20 points more than what he's projected to do, then I would maybe lock it in. But if he does like 35, 40, because it's Anthony Davis, I might just lock it in to be safe. It's not the Joker in terms of availability. The Joker is typically available. With Anthony Davis, if he does what he's supposed to do, his projected score, I might just lock it in. If you want to live on the edge, depending on your opponent, if it's somebody you feel pretty comfortable about beating, someone that maybe doesn't put the effort into it like you do, then maybe I would let him play the second game. But no way in heck that if he scores in that 35, 40 range after game 2, am I going to mess around with game 3? The only way I would is if I was down. If I was getting my butt beat and I'm like, yo, what am I going to do? Like my opponent is putting hands on me, then maybe I would roll my dice on Anthony Davis there. So again, those injury-prone players, I don't avoid them as much as I do in traditional leagues. The next guy is one of my favorite players in real life and in fantasy. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Luka Donic. Luka Donic for week 8 has 4 games. Whew. Game 1, he's projected to do 40 against Memphis. Game 2, he got LA, also projected to do 40. Against Minnesota, only projected to do 33, and then Portland only 34. So if early on in the week I get a 60 piece from him, I'm taking that. It's worth noting here that over his last 7 games, he's been pretty consistent. He scored 34 against Milwaukee on, it looks like the 18th there. The 19th of November, he scored 36 against Sacramento, 41 against LA, had a dip against the Clippers. Not sure what happened there. Then a big spike of 46. Looks like he sat out. I think that was the birth of his child. And then he came back for a whopping 57 points. So for Luka Doncic, you want to treat him like an elite player and see if you can get that value early if he scores 20 points over his projected point total. If not, I roll my dice on it, man. I would go right to the end of the week with Luka as long as I had the match, as long as I was behind, I should say. If I was behind, I would go all the way to the end. If I have the match in control by the second or third game, I'm locking those scores in. And that's a typical trend for the way I approach lock-in format. For game pick format, not so much, and I'm leaning towards lock-in mode more than game pick. Game pick just seems a little too iffy, but with lock-in mode, it gives you an opportunity to really, really take a look at what game you're interested in locking in for that player. So the next person, and mind you, this is in the order of their rankings right now. So Jokic is 1, Davis is 2, Doncic is 3. Number 4 for sleeper lock-in mode is your boy, the Greek Freak. Yes, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He is going to be playing in week 8, 4 games. He's projected to do 31 against Chicago, 33 against Indiana, 33 against Detroit. Oh, he's going to wash Detroit. But look out, that might be like garbage time alert there. So be careful with that game. And then Houston, 32.4. Overall, I really like these options for Giannis. Again, I would take a look at what he does that first game to see if I can like anchor in my score early. But with some of these stars having 4 games, you have a lot of flexibility in terms of what you can do if you start to fall behind. Over the last 7 games, Giannis scored 44, 30, 32, 43, 37, 42, and 41. So just know that Giannis, his floor, is still in the 30s, but his ceiling, he could go up into the 50s. So if I get a 40 piece from him, considering that over the last 7 days, over the last 7 games, I should say, he has not scored over 50 fantasy points in sleeper, I would probably bite on a 40-point game early and just go ahead and set myself at ease, avoid any headaches that I would have to dealing with inconsistent scoring. And then to round out the top 5, man, you guys are not going to believe this. Ranked number 5 on the season. This is the season rankings. Man, I don't believe it, but I'm going to have to start believing it. My man, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is going off, yo. Man. Well, actually, this is for scoring. Maybe this is for fantasy points. This is not his player ranking. My apologies. But still, he's in the top 10. You can see he's ranked number 9 right here. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. Anyway you look at it, only has 3 games in week 8. Projected to do 26, 31, and 31. And over the last 7 games, he's had some dips, man. He's gone in that 20 range. So I'm not so crazy about Scotty Barnes compared to these other players. But, again, If he has a good showing against the Knicks, I would lock that in for safety, and then I would just kind of play the urgency game depending on if you were down, if you were up, and all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys want more sleeper content? Let me know in the comments. Do you want more sleeper content? Also, let me know what players you want me to do updates on. If you drop your players down, I'll try to, for the next episode, to include that. And check out this playlist.